Hey, 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 this is Joel. It is Story Pipe. Bang! From Yahoo News, Ray Henry, Associated Press writer, 5th graders in California who adorned their mortarboards with tiny toy plastic soldiers this week to support troops in Iraq were forced to cut off their miniature weapons. What do 5th graders know about supporting troops in Iraq? A Utah boy was suspended for giving his cousin a cold pill prescribed to both students. In Rhode Island, a kindergartner was suspended for bringing a plastic knife to school so he could cut cookies. This is all about zero tolerance rules in the schools. Lawmakers in several states say the strict policies in schools have resulted in many punishments that lack common sense and are seeking to loosen the restrictions. Quote, a machete is not the same as a butter knife. A water gun is not the same as a gun loaded with bullets, said Rhode Island Senator Daniel Issa. Issa sponsored a bill requiring school districts to decide punishments for alcohol, drug, and non-firearm weapons violations on a case-by-case basis after weighing the circumstances. The man had to sponsor a bill. Okay, can you imagine what his speech was like in the halls of the Senate? What state is this man in? Rhode Island. Here he is in the floor of the Senate. A machete is not a butter knife. Oh, yeah. Machete. No. Oh, machete, not a butter knife. You know? Like what? Yeah. Rhubarb. I mean, some have long been aware of the problems of zero tolerance. For the last decade, Mississippi has allowed local school districts to reduce previously mandatory one-year expulsions. Thank God for Mississippi, as long as you're thanking God off of school property. Utah altered its zero-tolerance policy on drugs so asthmatic students could carry inhalers around. Apparently, they didn't get enough air to their brain for quite a while. Texas decided in 2005 that schools can consider students' intent and other mitigating factors before punishing them for many offenses, other than those involving firearms, said Representative Rob Eisler. He wants the weighing of these factors to be mandatory. It's hard to legislate common sense. Apparently, when you're on the floor of the Senate explaining that a machete is not a butter knife. Machete, not butter knife. Pass an ordinance declaring that a machete is not a butter knife. Critics of zero-tolerance rules cite multiple problems. Academic achievement often lags in schools with the highest rates of suspension and expulsion, said Cecil Reynolds, chairman of the APA's Zero Tolerance Task Force. The kids feel like they're walking on eggshells, he said. Reynolds also questioned what lessons zero-tolerance rules teach, citing reports that a 10-year-old girl was expelled from a Colorado academy after giving a teacher a small knife her mother placed in her lunchbox. What she learned from the school was, if something happens and you break a rule, for God's sake, don't tell anybody. Zero-tolerance policies completely ignore the concept of intent, which is antithetical to the American philosophy of justice, which I love the fact that American public school systems don't understand that it's antithetical to American justice. Apparently, no one informed the school system. There's a kid who, Patrick Agan, he's in Rhode Island, and in his school, he was big into medieval mythology kind of thing. He made his own chainmail, had a sword, and he had that was him, and his chainmail and sword was taken for his school photo, and they banned it for a while. And then he won in the lawsuit, and now there's a photo in the yearbook of him holding a sword. But it was because of the zero-tolerance policy against weapons. But Patrick Agan actually says, you can't really have a zero-tolerance. We have track and field. We throw javelins. If you think about it, you can pretty much make anything into the weapon. I'm like, someone please tell that to the TSA. We have more tolerance for students and teachers having sex with each other than we do for kids putting plastic soldiers on their mortarboards. That's messed up. Bye.